Hello everyone and welcome back to a new episode of Verse and Universe. Today we're going to be covering something really basic but also extremely important, which is the present simple. And I know that you've probably studied that millions of times, but today we're going to be covering every single detail of it, and it's really important to know everything about the present simple because it's like the base of learning English. And also by the end of the video we're going to be covering the most common mistakes when using the present simple, and believe me when I say they are extremely common. So let's get started. So let's recap the form really quickly. As you know, he, she, it, singular nouns come with the verb in s, es, or ies. For example, he eats, she eats, it eats, the child eats. Are, you, we, they, plural nouns come with the verb in base form. For example, I eat, you eat, we eat, they eat, the boys eat. What about the negative? So we use do and does to make a negative statement. Does with he, she, it, do with are, you, we, they. So she doesn't like football, they don't like football. What about questions? We start with do and does, then the subject, then the verb in base form, then the rest of the question. Or the W as well, like what, where, when, then do and does, then the subject, then the verb in the base form. Be careful in here. We said that he, she, it come with the verb adding s, es, or ies. But when you include does, either in negative, which is going to be doesn't, or in the question, you're going to remove the s, es, or the ies completely. How so? We said in the affirmative form, she likes pizza. So we added the s for the verb, which is like. But when you're going to make a negative, she doesn't, you're going to say like, not likes. So she doesn't like pizza. Once does enters the statement or the question, then you're going to remove the s completely and make the verb in the base form. Same goes with the question, does she like pizza? So again, the base form. Now, what about when to choose s, es, or ies? Most of the verbs, and that's the usual case, you just add an s. When do I add es? If the words end with s, ch, sh, x, or o. Like watch, gonna be watches, wash, washes, box, boxes. But boxes actually, it's a noun, not a verb. But it's the same thing. Now, what about adding an ies? Now, I know that most of you would think immediately that if the word ends with a y, no, there is something. If the word ends with a consonant, then a y, then you're going to flip the y into an I, and then you add es, like study. So study ends with a dy. D is a consonant, and then the y, then that's the rule. So study will be studies with ies, and we're going to remove the y completely. But take a look here. Play. It ends with a y, but are you going to flip the y into I and then you're going to add es? No, because it ends with the vowel, then the y, and the rule is consonant plus y. So if it's a vowel, you're going to leave the y as it is and you just add an s to the word. So plays with only an s. Now for the uses, we've got 5 that we'll be covering today. The first one, the routines and habits, which is basically if you're doing something as a routine, or if you're doing every single day or every week or every month or even every year, it's a routine. Then in this case, you're going to use the present simple. What do you mean by a routine? It's something regular. You do it in a consecutive form. So for example, I wake up at 7 a.m. every day. Is it a routine? Yes. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, until the end of the week, I wake up at 7 a.m. So that's a routine, so that's why I use the present simple, I wake up. What about weeks? Do we consider it routines? Yes. For example, I visit my grandma every Thursday. So this is a habit, this is a routine, although it happens only once a week. Still, I'm going to use the present simple. Same goes with months and same goes with years. If I'm doing it all the time at the same time, it does not change, then I'm going to use the present simple. So for example, I travel to Paris every year. So it's a routine, although it happens only once a year. Number 2, truth and fact. And this is the easiest one. If something is factual or true, then basically use the present simple. For example, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Another example, the sun rises in the east. Or check this out, she works at a bank. Some people say that we use the present simple for permanent situations and give jobs or occupations as an example. But to be honest, I don't like to use the term permanent because permanent mean always. And working at a bank or working in specific field is not permanent because we change jobs all the time. So I would like to add it into the category of facts and truth because it's a fact that she works at a bank right now. So if something is fixed or it's an unchanging truth, for now at least, then use the present simple. Now the third use, and it's going to confuse you a little bit, future scheduled events. Are we going to use the present simple when we talk about the future? No, only with future scheduled events. How's that? Check that example. My train leaves at 7:15. That's a scheduled event. I have a ticket and I can see that the train is at 7:15 a.m. So in this case, I'm actually free to use the present simple. Why? Think of it as kind of a fact, but we just like to call it scheduled future events. Does that mean I can use the present simple every time I talk about the future? No. You can only use it when you talk about scheduled events and scheduled events only. Another example, the movie starts at 8 p.m. today. Now, a slight note, we don't use the present simple for personal plans. For example, you cannot say, I meet my friends tomorrow. That's a personal plan, not like the train leaves at 7:15. In this case, since it's a plan, you will say, I'm going to meet my friends tomorrow, if it's a plan. If it's unplanned, then say, I will meet my friends now, for example. If going to and well confuses you, I made a video about the difference between both of them. You can check it down below. Now, number 4, stative verbs. What are stative verbs? Now, we have 2 types of verbs here, action verbs and stative verbs. Let's start with the easiest one, the action verbs. From its name, it requires action, some sort of movement. For example, jump, run, walk, talk. Talking requires movement. Yes, you're moving your mouth and your tongue and your teeth a lot, so it's still movement. On the other hand, stative verbs, it describes a state of being, not an action. Like it describes your thoughts, opinions, emotions, possessions. For example, those are the most common stative verbs, like, dislike, love, hate, those 4 emotions. We also have know, understand, think, doubt. For possession, we have own, belong, have. How does that work? 99% of the time, you only use those verbs with the present simple only. How is that? If you like a book, you cannot say, I'm liking the book. It describes a state of being, so you cannot use the present continuous with it. So you're going to say, I like the book. Or, I understand that lesson. You cannot say, I am understanding that lesson. Another example, I believe that Shakespeare contributed the most in the English drama. So, just to recap, if the verb is about a state, not an action, then use the present simple. The last one, and this is a fun one, use the present simple for narratives, like storytelling, sports commentary, and even jokes. Like, if you're describing a match, you already watched it and it's over, it's in the past, but still you describe it in the present simple. For example, he passes the ball, he shoots, he scores. It's like a sequence, and although it happened in the past, you still describe it in the present to make it feel more immediate and dramatic. Now, last thing is the most common mistakes that people usually make. And we're going to be covering 8 of them when we use the present simple. The first mistake, and this is really common, forgetting the S. When you're using the present simple, make sure that you use the S ending with the verbs. Like, don't say he work instead of he works. She eat instead of she eats. Always remember to put the S if you're using the present simple with he, she, and it. Number 2, confusing between the present simple and the present continuous for actions happening right now. For example, now I'm eating my breakfast. It's happening right now. But I want to talk about it as a form of habit. So I cannot say I am eating breakfast every day at 7 a.m. Here you're talking about a habit and a routine. You're not talking about right now. You're not focusing on right now. You're focusing on the routine in general. So although the action is happening right now, you cannot use every day with the present continuous. So in this case, you just say, I eat breakfast every day at 7 a.m. If you want to use the present continuous, then remove every day and you can add like something like right now. So I'm eating breakfast right now at 7 a.m. In this case, it's not a habit. Number 3, mixing between every day without a space and every day with a space. Now, what's the difference between those 2? I wear jeans every day. I wear jeans every day. So every day without a space as one word, it's an adjective, meaning ordinary or usual. So if you say, I wear jeans every day as one word, that means I usually wear jeans or I ordinarily wear jeans. But if you add it with a space, 2 different words, This means each day. Number 4 and 5, which I combine them together because it's about the same thing, the helping verb. Number 1 is omitting or removing the helping verb completely from the sentence or the question. So we know that we use do and does with negatives or questions. So sometimes people forget about do and does in the negative, so they say she not like pizza instead of saying she does not like pizza. Or in questions, instead of saying does she like pizza, you say she likes pizza. So always remember to add do and does with questions and negatives. Don't omit them, don't remove them, please. And the other thing is forgetting to remove the s from the verbs with he and she and it when you add does in questions and in negatives too. Again, when we add does or doesn't in the question or in the statement, if it's negative, you have to remove the s completely. So we cannot say she does not likes pizza. I need to remove the s, so she does not like pizza. Or in question, we cannot say that she likes pizza. No, that she like pizza. So remember 2 things. Don't omit the helping verb, which is do and does, and remove the s if it's added. Number 6, and we covered that in the uses, the state of verbs. One of the common mistakes saying I am wanting a car instead of saying I want a car. Want is a state of verb, so the best case is to use it with the present simple, not the present continuous. Number 7, using verb to be with nationalities and jobs. Like saying she doctor instead of she's a doctor. They French instead of they are French. So always remember to add verb to be with nationalities and jobs. And don't confuse it with adding do and does. So you cannot say she does doctor, she is, not does. And you don't say they do French, they are French. Last thing is asking questions with a do and does and adding verb to be. How's that? Check this out. Do you be happy? Does he be a teacher? You don't want to forget the do and does, and you also don't want to forget the verb to be, so you combine them together. When you're asking about nationalities, jobs, a state of being, or an emotion, then in this case you're going to use only verb to be. Instead of saying, do you be happy? You say, are you happy? Now, time for a quick quiz. I'm going to add 4 different sentences, and I want you to guess where is the mistake and how we can fix it. Number 1, she always study very hard. Studies. Going to remove the y and add ies. Why? He, she, it, we said comes with the s, and because the verb ends with a consonant and y, you're going to remove the y and add ies. Number 2, he washes his car every day. The mistake is every day. We need to separate them because every day as one word is an adjective meaning ordinary. Number 3, my father do not like shopping. My father does not or doesn't like shopping. Why? My father is a he, that's a singular noun, so it comes with does. Last one, the she teaches English. Does she teach English without the es? Because we have does, so we have to remove the es. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching today. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and see you next week. Sayonara.